Good morning, folks. It is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. And here you go. Here's your time and date stamp. Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. 6:48 a.m. in the morning. All right. I want to start this morning by explaining something to you. Does rocking equal calories burnt?
Yes, rocking in a chair can burn calories, about 150 per hour, by using your core and leg muscles. It's a gentle, low-impact activity that boosts circulation.
I picked up on that a very long time ago, and it boosts circulation. Someone yesterday mentioned me sitting and rocking. That is a habit I got into a long time ago. Even as a kid, we used to sit Indian style in the floor, or I don't know what they call it now. They get all offended by that language now, but I feel like I've been grandfathered in since that was the language I was taught. We sit like that in kindergarten, and we would rock as a part of keeping blood flow going. Some of the things we used to learn in kindergarten as children. So, yeah, if you see me talking to you and rocking, there is a reason behind it. Not only is it habit, but it is a good habit to be in general. Most people just sit in their chairs, and usually when I'm talking to you guys, I'm sitting, in my chair with the back way back here. I'm not leaned up against it. Usually when I'm doing my videos, I'm rocking because I'm not in relaxation mode. I am still in calorie burning focus mode. So that will explain the rocking that I do on a consistent, everyday thing, when I'm doing these videos, especially when I'm sitting here in my studio and in this particular chair and doing a lot of rocking. That is calories being burnt, just so you know. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I encourage it. Everyone, don't always lean back in the chair. If you feel comfortable enough to sit forward and not have to lay back all the time, laying back all the time is going to destroy your back. Too much relaxation, So when I done my live stream last Friday, that was wonderful because I was able to, sit and rock and talk to you folks for, like an hour and a half, How much blood flow do you think was going on and calorie burn going on then? It just is what it is. It is what it is. So the rocking is not going to stop. That is a part of what I do. And also, thanks for bringing it up, because that is definitely something I can share with you folks out there. Other than this weigh-in that I'm going to share with you right now.
Hello. Please step on the scale.
Ooh, okay.
Your weight is 259 pounds.
259 pounds even. So we started the other day at, what was it, 265, 266, somewhere around there. Hold on just a second, folks. Well, I'll talk to you. I got my camera going. I'm just slipping over here to put my jogging pants on. It is cold this morning. I feel like I need some extra layer on over my shorts here. Usually I don't sleep in long pants. I sleep in basketball shorts is what I like. right, so this is cozy mode for me. This is laid back mode. When I'm in laid back mode and talking serious, you don't have to worry about me doing any kind of rocking. As if that's something any of us should be worried about in the first place. So, if you're watching me, worry about the message that is being sent. Worry about the results that are being shown. So, we've completed 3 full days into the plant base. We've brought our weight back down to the upper 250s, where we were last week. Usually right now I'd be taking a break and throwing in some animal protein for a day or two, just maintaining my weight, So my low for last year was like 250 something, or 251 point something, I think. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to head for those 240s as best I can. Yeah, I got great numbers to show you as far as the phone goes. Yesterday, I burnt 15,000 calories yesterday. And the funny part about that is, I guess I've got my metabolic heart rate up, through doing more increasing activity lately, because I've been pretty, dependent on diet as a standalone, as far as my weight loss goes, and it has been sustaining me, not really losing a lot, not gaining anything, but really keeping me in a maintenance of where I stand right now as far as my weight goes on the scale. Nothing, no kind of extreme loss, no kind of extreme gain, just healthy, steady maintenance where I'm at the moment. But yeah, I do want to, cut in a healthy way. A lot of you folks out there in my comment section, you used to tell me things all the time, like the message is constantly changing. Be careful of the changing messages. We've seen all this before, and I kind of can relate to some of that, with the message flopping around all over the place like it was for me. I didn't really understand a lot of it. I did participate in some of it, given the benefit of the doubt at the time. And, because of things I relied on in the past, like ETRF or alternate day or intermittent, all of that stuff. 48 hour, 72 hour, those type of things, and I don't like implementing those type of things myself personally. And the reason why is because every other diet out there has to rely on those kind of measures, those kind of restrictions to rely on weight loss, and then claim it's all on the diet. That's one thing I always hated about Atkins and carnivore and those type of diets. The heavy restricting that was involved in order to drop weights, and then everybody's like, "Oh, look what this diet done for me," when it was all about the restriction in the first place. You see, I showed you what I was eating 3 days ago, and I've been steady following that routine for the past 3 days. I've been eating a breakfast of like oatmeal and banana. I make that into because I use the oat milk, right? I make that into like a morning drink. Matter of fact, this morning I think I will do a standalone video on that after I get done with this one, because yeah, I like I got some ideas to add to my morning drink. It's not really like a icy smoothie. It's like kind of like a cold milkshake type of smoothie. Once you Got that creamy oatmeal in there, which I grind up into flour, and you got that banana in there. It's so amazing. Probably gonna be adding some blueberries and strawberries in there with the banana soon, and the oatmeal together, along with a little bit of that oat milk. Man, that is so good, man. That hits the spot in ways like you just don't know. You just don't know, and you don't really have to sweeten it too much because the oatmeal's got some sweetness to it. Plus, the fruit itself has its own natural sweetness. You really don't have to add anything hard hitting in there. Just drink it naturally. That's been working good for me so far. That has been my breakfast of choice for the past few days. I'm loving that. And then, I am just hooked on rice and oatmeal for right now. Not so much on the potatoes yet. But when I do start implementing the potatoes, I think I'm gonna do it McDougal style, like I've been doing. Adding in the veggies. I like the cooked veggies. Like, to me, what would be good is some potatoes, with some, you know, cooking, like a skillet or something, or a pan, or even steamed, veggies would be a good choice for that matter. Something like, some onion, some peppers, potatoes go good with broccoli, especially if you've got them all diced up and stuff like that. I think those are good options. But yeah. But back to what I was saying, I just don't like the restrictiveness of some of the diets out there. This one, I love it because I get to enjoy life, with some food. Everybody seems so miserable out there, and that is one thing that about all of that whole experiment with the sugar diet that drove me in, because I was like, man, I've never experienced weight loss quite like this, where I was able to actually consume some food and feel good throughout the day. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm not after. So I say it all the time, and you can go back into my channel's history and you can relive the moments in 2022 where I went on a diet with these very specific diets, with other dieters, a lot of them were doing, things like BBB and E, and we were all like a weight loss support group, and we were all doing different diets. My thing was all about the calories back then. So, I was doing a lot of one meals and stuff, and even though they were large meals, I was practicing the 16/8 stuff, and just kind of eating whatever I wanted, Kayla Cox style, like 6 miles to supper. And I had great success with that, and I actually landed on a weight that is slimmer than I am right now, which that is my fault, not the current diet that I'm doing's fault. It's my fault for implementing, 90 style low fat dieting. It just didn't pan out for me. I got from there. I went into starch solution stuff, but that caused me to yo-yo a bit. But after that, then the gallbladder stuff happened, and now, because of all of the rapid weight loss and the yo-yoing and having a history of gallbladder issues that's going back over a decade in the first place, has led me to, on purpose, try to maintain, you can see clearly I've got it all leveled out of where where and how I can drop anytime I get ready. I don't gain it back and keep it. So like I say, if there's there's still some naysayers out there that come around, in the comments. I had one the other day talking about, oh, once the carbs catch up to you, it's gonna start storing the fat. You're gonna start gaining. Shouldn't that have already happened by now? Are you sure what you think's gonna happen is gonna happen? All I can say is keep watching and keep waiting, because it's just a view. It's just a view that I need on my channel. Go ahead, keep watching, keep waiting, keep waiting. But yeah, I don't like that long restriction type of doing things. I mean, because everybody out there who's doing any kind of diet right now uses that to prove their diet. I mean, at some point you got to land on something that you're going to have to use for maintenance and sustainability. And I can tell you right now, 90% plant-based can do that for you. Thinking back on my Southern heritage, my Southern history, I can tell you now that people ate, cornbread and collards, cornbread and cabbage, cornbread, and pinto beans. These were staple meals, on their own in people's daily lives. I can remember eating like this in the 1970s as a Gen Xer. I mean, how Gen X has some knowledge out there that they just don't share. They just don't share. And there's because we were raised by that silent generation and that greatest generation, along with the boomers, So we had some influences other than just boomers being our parents. We had some great influence from some of the older generations before us. We got knowledge out there that we need to share. There's a lot more to us than the grunge, the 4-year grunge that they allow us to. They perceive us as, oh, what was Gen X? Oh, they were the flannel shirt wearing grunge generation. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. Our generation started in 1965. If you look at how metal, at the time, they've tried to redefine what metal was in our time as, glam metal or hair metal or different things like that. But if you think about Kiss starting that in the late 70s, because it grew off of Kiss and AC/DC, and then there was Van Halen right there at the last part of the 70s, and it just took off from there. And it didn't end till somewhere in 1992 or 93, somewhere around that era. And then when it ended, I've seen YouTube channels talking about this, where they just kind of started shutting down the Sunset Strip from everyone hanging out. And this kind of happened all over the country, because we all had like our own mini type of Sunset Strips. The town that I hung out with, people in up until the early 90s as a young adult, high school age to young adult, we used to park on the town square, and hang out, and we used to cruise the town square. We had a cruising route, and that used to happen in counties all over the country like that. For some reason they all got together, because it wasn't just, I thought it was just like my county thing at the time, because we didn't have internet, right? But they were shutting down cruising and hangout spots a long time ago. They did it all throughout the 90s. Arcades were a place to gather and hang out. That's where you met people and got to socialize and stuff. All of these things, they just kind of like started slowly, tearing down, the food courts and the malls and stuff. That was just, you watch things like Cobra Kai, and you see them hanging out in the food courts and stuff like that as kids. That used to be a thing. Those are Gen Xers, the minds of Gen X, working, to make great TV and movie content, and they know how to make it, look realistic. Like, oh, look, there's this karate fight that happened in the middle of the mall, in the food court. Yeah, I mean, because, those used to be gathering spots for young adults. And all that just kind of got shut down. It's like they knew the internet was coming, and they wanted more people to focus outside of that kind of socialization and being driven. Because rock and roll back then used to be, you know, it used to be presented as mainstream. You know, you'd hear your rhythm and blues, you know, and a little bit of, you know, Sir Mix-a-Lot, and then the next thing you know, you're listening to Aerosmith, Tell Me How to Let You Go, and all this stuff. Tell Me What It Takes to Let You Go, and all of this, you know. All this music was just blended together, and then all of a sudden, like around 93 or 94, somewhere around there, they started categorizing rock in its own separate thing, and they had these rock stations come out, oh, new rock, and then you hear all this depressing ass music, man. It was just exhausting. I never, when Gen Xers were evolving, and then Gen Xers were evolved and programmed. Don't think that they weren't. They were programmed. Like, I'll explain it. Like we used to have these action figures called G.I. Joes. They'd come out with Series 1, right? And then, like a year and a half later, they come out with Series 2, you know, these new figures. And Series 1 was kind of still around. But what they were really preparing for was Series 3. So about the time Series 3 was coming out, you know, they were phasing out Series 1. And they still do this to this day. They were conditioning for a loss of something that they liked. Oh, well, we can no longer get that. And then when people started, you know, and like when kids, you know, they were a little too young to start out in Series 1, when they finally did come around to being able to watch the cartoons and the shows, they're like, oh, well, I can't get all these great figures before because they just don't make them anymore. And they haven't made them since. So Gen X became a generation of, hey, I had the greatest toys. I had the greatest music. And also, we were kind of, you know, the generation that set the stage up for what comes next for you, what you're supposed to be into at the time, you know. Don't be into that older stuff, you know. Be into what's coming out now, you know, because it's not going to last a while and you're going to have to move on. So we became the move on generation from everything. I just kind of stopped and took a standstill. I kind of stopped probably around somewhere around 89, honestly. Because I could see all of this moving forward and going in a direction that a lot of people didn't want it to go. Where's my proof of this, you ask? Look at Beavis and Butthead, for example. You got one kid wearing DC shirt that is perfectly captured from the 1970s when they started out. You got the other kid wearing a Metallica shirt. And all of the other stuff fell in between that decade, you know. Fell in between that decade. Now, they used to poke fun at a lot of the older, you know, rock stuff that, you know, dominated for dag near over a decade and a half, you know, maybe 15 years of metal, you know, what I call metal still. You know, Guns N' Roses, that type of stuff, you know. And we just kind of all blended music together. We didn't categorize it as like, oh, you got to listen to this only, you got to listen to that only. Yeah. And more proof exists, stuff I'll have to get into at a later time. But I'm going way off the deep end. But Gen X knows there's better ways of handling diet out there. We know. We're just not letting it out. So during that generation, that's what you see a lot of Gen Xers now around my age, you know, pushing, taking Atkins diet, you know, and breaking it into different things like, oh, well, this part of Atkins is now keto diet. This part of Atkins is now carnivore diet. Atkins wanted you to phase into eating more vegetables and fruits, you know, in the 2 and 3 phases as you went along. He never meant for it to be 100% meat based, you know. Even though a lot of people did that, even though he knew a lot of people did that, he's talked about it. He's got books and videotapes out there all over the place. VHS tapes still exist with his stuff on it. You know, I'm surprised a lot of that haven't made it to the internet yet. But anyway, my point is, fasting. That's something we all knew, And I've seen every influencer out there talk about, oh, well, you're just eating too much. You're not losing weight. Oh, you're just eating too much if you're gaining on this specific diet. Name the diet. So how do you keep the calories low and be able to enjoy life? Food volume matters. Food volume matters. I can eat a whole pile of rice and lentils and not even come nowhere near the calories of 2 ribeyes. All right, folks, that's all I got for this morning. Back to my rocking, back to burning energy. Tell me what you think down in the comments. That's all I got for this video. So until the next one, you folks have a good one and rock on.